Hey everyone, it's time to start playing around with the All That Remains card since it has been released on Octagon. I'm playing my next design deck against a Chaos Theory, and the card that I'm going to be using from All That Remains is Executive Bootcamp. It won't have much of an impact on my deck, however, because the only asset in my deck aside from Executive Bootcamp is Director Haas. So basically my deck is simple. Rush out a Director Haas in a remote server and just keep scoring agendas non-stop until you win the game. The reason why Executive Bootcamp helps this deck is because it basically means that instead of having only 3 Director Haases in my deck, I can have 5 or 6. In this case, I have 5. So yeah, anytime I draw an Executive Bootcamp, it's like drawing a Director Haas, so it increases the reliability of this deck, which hopefully will make it more competitive. We'll see if that's the case. So my opening hand, I didn't really need to explain much about it. 3 eyes check, and the hedge fund in there was just a bonus. Then I draw into a Celebrity Gift after installing my 3 eyes, which is the single best card that you can splash for in next design. The drawback of Celebrity Gift is that it's a double, which means that if you play it on your first turn, you will lose the ability to ice up all your servers. But this is not a problem with next design. Anyway, so with 3 end run ice on my 3 important servers, he wasn't able to get in, and I was able to res all of them because of Celebrity Gift, giving me so much money. So off the back of that, I scored a Vitruvius. My next turn, I iced up HQ because it was a paper wall over there, and he could be playing Siphon. So after that, I installed Director Haas in the remote. I could res Director Haas and get one more click, but I chose not to because I want to bait him into running this remote. And I actually successfully managed to bait him to running it. So here I'm praying that he would bring out a Guardian Blade instead of a cheap breaker like a Zuki Master. And sure enough, he does bring out the Guardian Blade, and he's down to 2 credits on the Stim Hack and 1 credit in his credit pool. 3 credits is not enough to smash my Director Haas. Oh, that felt so good. Yep. So I basically caused him to waste half of his Stim Hack. He still managed to get a Guardian Blade out, and that's not very good news for me, because that means he can easily bust through and steal my Director Haas. So I had to score the ABT and perform the accelerated beta test to protect Director Haas. This is one good thing about playing this deck in HP faction. With access to ABT, you can really defend Director Haas very well off the back of an agenda score, which usually is a tempo hit to your board state. So he's in very bad spot he's a very bad spot right now. But he recoups and throws a curveball at me by indexing me, because my R&D is completely porous. So yep, I was forced to let him see my top 5 cards and allow him to steal whatever agendas were lying on top of it. And seeing that he needed a Stim Hack run to steal agendas, I more or less figured that the only agenda in the top 5 cards was the NAPD, which he stole. So this means that the next 4 cards that I draw will all be non-agendas, which is really bad for me. I want to quickly get agendas so that I can score them and win the game. This is a fast deck. This cannot go to the... Once I hit the mid-game, where the runner assembles all 3 breakers, I have lost the game. I need to win the game before the runner finds enough tutors or breakers to win the game. Right now, he's 1 out of 3 with the Guardian Blade. Can't rely on that being the case for too long. So when I drew my Executive Bootcamp, I knew just what to do. I spent a click to install it, and then use its ability to shuffle my R&D. This allows me to tutor a Director Haas, which means that I can pitch her off later, so that my R&D is less porous. Remember that every single copy of Director Haas contributes 2 agenda points to Chaos Theory, which is not good. Then I attempt to draw up so that if I find any 3-2 agendas, I can install them. I can fast advance them next turn. Unfortunately for me, he manages to find his Corroder, and with Magnum Opus, he's rich enough to break through my server and kill off Director Haas by paying 5 credits. That is very unfortunate for me. Not only does this equalize our scoreline, but more importantly, I can no longer fast advance. So I'm forced to make a scoring remote, and I do so by installing a Roto Turret. protecting the Vitruvius. He's now 2 out of 3. He only needs a Sentry Breaker to win the game. I can only hope that he doesn't get it quickly enough. Sure enough, he draws cards and hits Magnum Opus, so I'm good for now. I see the Celebrity Gift, and that's too good to pass up. I definitely need money to score my last agenda. So I draw and show 5 cards, including the NAPD in my hand. So now I'm up to 11 credits. He still doesn't challenge my remote. He just keeps drawing more cards and getting more money, which is a good thing to do. By getting more money, he is making the board state very uncertain, and by drawing more cards, that means it makes it harder for me to put a finger on whether he has enough breaking power to get through my remote, which makes it harder for me to score agendas. And by getting more money, and by drawing more cards, he increases the chance of seeing his Sentry Breaker. Alright, he runs HQ knowing that there's a single NAPD in there, 1 in 5 chance. I don't mind. Have a look at my hand. Oh wait, he found it. Now he's on 6 points. And credits don't really matter to him anymore because it only costs him 2 clicks to get 4 credits from Magnum Opus. I draw very hard, and on my last click, I find the Gila Hands. On my second click, I find the Gila Hands, which I immediately slide into my remote for the win. It's now or never. Once he gets his Sentry Breaker up, this deck is doomed. And, well, he spoils the fun by test running a Femme Fatale, bringing it onto that remote. I can't stop him, he wins the game. So yeah, you can watch it play out. My thoughts of this game. I had one of the best openings and draws you could ask for. His indexing was pretty much whiffed because the only thing he managed to fetch was an NAPD that cost him some tempo. I managed to find lots of money, Celebrity Gift and 2 hedge funds that provided me, 2 Celebrity Gifts and hedge funds. It fueled me for the entire game. The unfortunate part of me was the 1 in 5 access on HQ. Had he not accessed the NAPD on that HQ run, I could install and advance it the next turn. Firstly, even if he stole it, he would be only on 6 points, which means he wouldn't have won the game outright. And more importantly, I don't think he had enough credits at that point to steal an NAPD because I was just playing way too fast. Unfortunately, Chaos Theory is a very, very fast deck. Those Stim Hacks really turned the tide of the game. Even though the first Stim Hack didn't manage to let him steal Trash Director Haas, it allowed him to install the Gordian Blade very quickly. And that's what Chaos Theory excels at. Just rapidly getting her Breaker Suite up, and that is a very hard counter to my next deck. So yeah, it's very well played by my opponent. He knew when to strike on my remotes. He saw when I was weakest in R&D, and he capitalized on them. Had he played any slower, he definitely wouldn't have scored the 7 points that he needed to win the game before I did. So that was it. Thanks for watching and happy net running. See you around.